Hello, my name is Doug. I'm the service manager here at Tilmor, and today we're going to talk about battery maintenance and service, because sometime in the life of a tractor or the battery, we're always going to need to jump it, service it, remove it, and so we're just going to talk about that, where the battery is located, how to perform the service, and what to do. So I will draw attention to page 46 of your service manual. At least it's page 46 in this version. And it talks about cleaning the battery terminals, charging the battery, jump starting procedure. And it also talks about the danger of the battery. It has acid inside. It is a lead acid battery, and so when batteries get charged, they can emit gases, and so it's always a good thing just to be very careful. Read the instructions on your battery charger to follow those instructions as well. Before working on the battery, we should take some precautions. It's always a good idea, remove your key and make sure that right now, that your park brake is released. You'll want it up, and then we're gonna trip the little circuit breaker, pressing the blue button, and the little yellow finger will fall down. So that way we make sure that if we were to have a short circuit of some, or touch our terminal with metal to metal, we're not going to fry anything up in our electric, so careful. Next, we'll use our 3/8 wrench to remove the bolts that are holding the shield. This is where the battery is located, and we'll take these off. There are 4 bolts, 2 in front, and 2 up here on the side. And you can see the shield has the little battery warning sign, no flames, no gases, fumes, use gloves and use eyeglasses. These are safety lenses. So that's important when you're working with a battery. The other part that holds the shield, there is this bracket here that is in front of the battery that is also attached with bolts that need a 3/8 wrench. And there are 2 of those that are underneath. And we'll just remove those. And this bracket just pulls up. And it has this rubber that helps hold the battery into place. So we'll just set that aside. Now we see our battery, the terminals. We've got the positive in the rear. It's covered by red, and the negative is in front, covered by the black plastic. So at this point, we can uncover our terminals. We'll put on our PPE. But occasionally, like for maintenance, if you would inspect the battery with some frequency, we want to make sure that it's clean. Occasionally there might be some corrosion. If it's just corrosion on the outside, it can be cleaned with a solution of maybe 4 tablespoons of baking soda in a gallon of water will really do the trick. But after you pour that on, you see the bubbling and the corrosion disappears. Make sure you flush the area with clean water. It's also a good idea to perform that sort of maintenance when the battery is removed, but sometimes it's on the cables, and so you want to get that cleaned as well. But now if you want, we can talk about jumping. So your jumper cables, we want to avoid touching metal to metal. So especially in this case, you have a vehicle that you say you want to park beside it. We want to make sure that, similar to the battery that's in the tractor, this is a 12-volt battery, negative ground, and so with a pickup truck, anything with a 12-volt battery, that matches, so that's what you could use. Now we're going to attach our jumper cables, and just to have a precaution, make sure that the ends aren't anywhere near each other. Then we'll attach our red lead to the positive terminal in the rear. And our black lead to the front negative terminal. At this point then, you could attach the red lead to the positive terminal of the battery that's doing the jumping, and your black to the negative. Turn on that vehicle, and then turn on the tractor. And that should jump start the tractor if you need that. So we're just going to remove this for now. So make sure our ends don't touch. Take away our negative lead. Take away our positive lead. And we're good for jumping. Now we're going to remove the battery. Just want to show that procedure. So once again, we be very careful with where our wrenches are. Loosen the nut. It's a 1/2 inch nut. Sometimes you might have to pry a little bit if it's been on a while, but usually come right off. Same way on the back. Use a 1/2 inch wrench. Now that we have the battery cables removed, we'll take out the battery. You'll notice that the battery does not come straight up. These obstacles in the way. You have to tilt the battery up about 45 degrees, and probably the easiest way to do that is lift, push back, and gets it over this edge, and you're able to just pull it out at that 45-degree angle and set it out. Okay, so you may want to take the battery out for a couple of reasons. Over winter especially, the battery can become discharged if it's sitting for a long period. So it is a good idea to start the tractor every 30 days or so, just so that the battery does charge up. If you find when you go to try to start it that it doesn't start, then you might want to pull it out and put it on the bench and use a regular battery charger. Follow the instructions on the battery charger, but it will talk about trickle charging or slow charge and fast charge. Slow charge overnight is typically the best for your battery, but if you're in a hurry, you can also do the fast charge. But be careful, batteries do heat up when they get charged, and so you want to make sure that there's no problem there. And they can also emit gas, so make sure that's done in a well-ventilated area. The other thing to maintain the battery, it's easiest to do like when it's outside here. These are just little foam insulators, felt Just set those aside for a second. But if you have a wire brush, you can use that to clean the terminals. There are also some very nice post cleaners at your tractor supply store that fit over the top of the post and clean it nicely. I just didn't have one handy right now. Another possibility, a file, just to remove that corrosion that might build up on the outside of the post. Also, I can't reach so you can see the positive, but in the negative terminal, you can make sure that inside the negative terminal that is cleaned out as well. And once again, that post cleaner has a nice little brush that fits inside there. So another good thing to do is at the tractor supply store, little dielectric grease added to the terminal posts helps to prevent corrosion from happening. You can get in different size packages, but that's also helpful. So we'll put our felt back, the red, once again, positive. So you'll see a plus sign on your battery typically. Put that right there. Negative gets the black. Put that right there. Now the battery goes with the red positive terminal in the rear. Red rear. So we'll put this in at a 45-degree angle like it came out. Kind of hold your front posts and just allow it to drop in with its own weight. And we're back together. Now we can reach back here for our positive terminal and slip that over the post. Give it a little twist. That usually helps it to seat down better. And turn it around so you can have access to the nut. And then we'll tighten down the nut. Once again, we want to avoid metal to metal contact. And we'll do our negative post, cover up our positive post there, and attach. Okay, here we go. Cover that, and we'll put our shield back on. So in order to do that, we need to have our front T-bracket. This little cutout here fits into a groove that's down on the frame of the tractor. And so we want to make sure that you can put it in at an angle first so that the rubber foam goes into place. And then there's a cutout down here. You can reach in with your finger and pull that so that that slot fits the groove there. So we position that T-bracket back into place, and we have two bolts that we need to insert to hold it. Now our top shield. Probably easiest to stick that bolt in the rear first. And the cover goes in the same way that it came out. It's a good idea to wait until all the bolts are installed before tightening them, just so that you can make sure you can maneuver the top and get it into place. And then once all the bolts are started, you can go back then with your wrench and tighten it up. I will say that the nuts that are used on these bolts, they're called extruded nuts, and they're made of aluminum. So you don't want to over tighten these nuts. Just when you feel that they're snug, just give it just a little push and that's good. Well, that basically concludes the removal and replacement of the battery. And at this point, you can push up the yellow finger that's on your circuit breaker, and you'll be able to restart your tractor again. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it was useful. And if you have questions about the battery, please give us a call. No trouble.